Acharya how do I know that I'm aware? I might be rejecting one deception only to fall for another. My awareness at best is associating with what I think is the highest, but that decision is made by me, the one lacking awareness.
Yes, that's what you have to do. The fact that you can reject one trap to fall in another one is not merely a statement of your helplessness. It is also an expression of your power, provided you look at it rightly. Yes, you move from one place to the other. You have just moved from one trap to the other. But why can't you move from a lower trap to a higher trap? Or do you want to stay in the worst kinds of traps using the excuse that any movement away from your particular current trap would anyway lead you into another one? Don't you see where the excuse is coming from and what the purpose of the excuse is? Acharya ji, you said that words cannot contain the truth. Therefore, I have decided to neither listen to you nor read the Upanishads, because anyway they too contain just words. You too speak just words. And didn't you yourself say that words cannot contain the truth? Yes, that's true. The ultimate truth cannot be contained in any word. In that sense, all words are false. Still, one word is different from the other one. All words are false, true. But even in the dimension of falseness, there are gradations, there are distinctions. Any place you go to is not your final home, that's true. But why must you continue living in a jail? Why? It is true that when time and space themselves are illusions, then any structure of brick and mortar is just illusory. Still, if you must live in a structure, why choose a jail over a temple? And when I say choose a temple rather than a jail, I do not mean that a temple is the eternal truth. No, temple is not the eternal truth. Still, temple is better than a jail. So, in your limited capacity, do the best you can. As they say sometimes, let the best not be the enemy of the better. This is often a deception we use against ourselves. We say, because I cannot be the best, therefore I will not even be the better one. I will stay as I am. Alright, maybe you cannot be the best in just one leap, but can't you improve a little at least? Maybe in just one jump, you cannot reach from the floor to the terrace. But can't you climb the staircase step by step? Depending on where you are, take the next step. Take the next step. Obviously, none of these steps is the equivalent of the sky. And if you want to use that kind of an argument, you can use that argument and you will succeed. You can say, the next step that I am going to take, is that going to help me merge with the sky? The answer will be no. And when the answer will be no, you can gladly allow yourself to stay where you are and not take any step ahead or further or higher. That's just an inner conspiracy against oneself. Acharya, I have been listening to you since 5 years now, and I am still not enlightened. Therefore, I am not going to listen to you anymore. Are you better off or not? That's the question you must ask. So, remember that our undoing, our disaster is not that we do not manage to reach the highest point possible. No, that is not our tragedy. Our tragedy lies in something else. Our tragedy lies in not doing even that much which we can easily do. Are you getting it? Your tragedy is not that you could not score 100 out of 100 in mathematics. Your tragedy is that you were capable of scoring 80 at least, and you scored some 25. You are misrepresenting your problem when you say that your problem is that you could not score a neat, complete century. No, that is not your problem. Your problem is not that you could not reach the highest point of consciousness. Your problem, your defeat lies in the fact that you never had the courage to be better than what you allowed yourself to remain as. If you do not know what the highest is, and therefore you never reach the highest, there is no shame in it. Right? Who knows the truth? Who knows the infinite? Who knows the unthinkable? If you cannot attain that, it's hardly a matter of shame. But it is indeed a matter of shame when you did not have the courage, the diligence to do even that much which was easily possible. It is not something to feel humiliated about when you are genuinely deluded and therefore you make a wrong choice. The thing is pardonable. You genuinely did not know how to make a right choice, so you made the wrong one. Fine. But you cannot be pardoned when you know what the right thing is and you still do not have the courage and the honesty to make the right choice and live the right choice. So we flatter ourselves, we needlessly pamper ourselves in a very biased way when we say, oh, my life is a mess because I never knew what the right thing to do was, because I did not know the right routes, therefore I kept taking the wrong ones. No. That's not a tragedy. That's not What went wrong with you? What went wrong with you is totally different. Your tragedy is that even when you knew what was right, you decided to do what was wrong. When you do not know what is right and therefore you do not do what is right, you can be excused. But you cannot be excused. I know I'm repeating myself many a time, but it's needed. Because you too repeat your same actions, your same tendencies your entire life. If you can repeat 40,000 times, let me repeat at least 4 times. Are you getting it? Think of all the things that you know to be right. Do you still do those things? Think of all the things you know to be patently wrong. Do you still avoid those things? That's where you are being daily defeated. Do not say, oh, Acharya ji, Brahm is so elusive and that's my problem. I am not able to attain Brahm. No, that is not your problem. The problem is that you are diabetic and you still keep rushing after sugar. And now you are talking of Brahm. Brahm is not your problem at all. Because you are not at all in the position when you can even talk of Brahm. When you are not eligible to even talk of Brahm, how can Brahm attainment be even a problem for you? You are like the class 4 kid saying, my problem is that my doctoral thesis is getting rejected. Son, you are in class 4. How can doctoral thesis be your problem? You are exaggerating your problem so that you can hide your real little problem. Your real little problem is that you have been given 2 little problems in multiplication and division and you do not want to sit over them. Instead of sitting over those 2 little sums, you are going here and there and saying, I think I'll not apply for postdoc at Harvard now. Postdoc at Harvard. And your reality is that you have been given that little question that says that if 7 bananas are for rupees 10, how many bananas can you buy for rupees 7? That problem you cannot crack. And you are acting so distressed on the matter of postdoctorate. That's the thing about most of us. We are not big enough to have big problems. Our real problems are tremendously little. And they are so little, so mean, so petty that we are ashamed to talk of them. Therefore, we create illusory problems and talk of them. People come to discuss, this is that, this is that. Usually I give myself 40 minutes to speak with a person who comes to me. Out of these 40 minutes, 30 minutes are spent just extracting the real problem from him. And the fellow will do his best, try very hard to hide the real problem. And he will present some monstrous spiritual, philosophical problem, I am depressed because I cannot reconcile Derrida with Madhvacharya. and in the 35th minute it emerges that his real problem is that he has a crush on his maid, and the wife has come to know of it. That's the real problem, and he is talking of Madhavacharya and Ramanuj and he says, I have a deep suspicion that Achintya Bhed Abhed is superior to both Advait and Dvait. It requires great skills of a deep sea diver to first of all mine the real problem. You could call me a deep sea diver or a miner, and I have to keep going down into the coals, down, and finally not a diamond, a piece of shit emerges from there. It is a privilege to have a big problem. Most of us are not privileged enough. Petty as we are, all we have is petty problems.